Welcome back to another edition of Rob Sports Center. As you can see by the title, man, yes, I'm back with another Larry Bird reaction video. Now, this video is titled Larry Bird, the greatest all-around player. So, you have different ways we term the GOAT. For some people, you might term them as greatest scorer of all time. For some of them, you might term them as greatest rebounder of all time. Some of them, you might term them as greatest defender of all time. You kind of get what I'm saying, et cetera, et cetera. Now, they're saying that Larry Bird is the greatest all-around player, meaning that he was good at everything across the board. It wasn't really nothing he lacked at. You got some people who are great scorers, but they're not great facilitators. They're not great leaders. But I guess it's going to be a video explaining to why he believes that Larry Bird is the greatest all-around player. But before we get into this video, man, do me a big favor, man. Smash that thumbs up button. Also, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. And if you've been watching my videos and you ain't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. You know how I do over here, man. I ain't gonna talk y'all to death. Let's get into the video. Also, like I always tell y'all, let me see Team Bird in the comment section. All right, guys, real quick. If you guys did not know, I do have a Patreon. The link to my Patreon will be in my description. Basically, on my Patreon, you can get, exclusive content. You can get the longer form reaction videos. You can get videos that I can't put on YouTube that get copyrighted or blocked. You get access to that on Patreon. It's only $5 a month, guys. That's just like a Little Caesars pizza, man. So if you're interested in that, if you're interested in WWF reactions, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, old school basketball, new school basketball, old school football, new school football, and WWF, click that link in my description and go get that $5 membership. Let's get back into the video.
The greatest all-around player of all time. What does this mean exactly? When we're talking about this subject, I think most people mean it in terms of a variety of elite abilities. Is he a top scorer, a top passer, a top rebounder, a top defender, and so on?
Now look,
usually, when this debate comes up,
y'all know how I always tell y'all, for majority, I don't pre-watch these videos, and look at how he said they determine what you would consider the GOAT in certain tiers, right? He pretty much explained it in exactly spot for spot how I said in the intro, man.
You'll hear two players get mentioned quite a bit. LeBron James and Michael Jordan.
I be in tune.
Let me make this clear. This video is not intended to be a criticism against either of those players. Both Jordan and LeBron are immensely talented in a variety of ways, and each of those players have a legitimate argument for that title. But the thing is, I think Larry Bird's case is just as strong. But for some reason, he's almost never given that same level of recognition on this particular topic. Now let me break down the main reasons why I think Bird's case is so strong. For one, Larry Bird has no weaknesses in his game. Think about how rare that actually is, even when considering some of the GOAT candidates. It can be argued that Michael Jordan's weakness was his three-point shot.
I want to ask you guys a question too, so check this out. Let me know what's y'all favorite aspect of Larry Bird's game in terms of whether it's shooting, rebounding, defense, post play. I want to know. I really want to know what's y'all favorite aspect. I always tell y'all it's just really for me it's the mentality that is my favorite part of Bird for the most part. Because of his mentality is why he excels in so many different things. But let me know which one of y'all think. Which one of y'all thinks that y'all love about him so much?
Shooting, especially earlier in his career. LeBron James is a below average free throw shooter. Magic Johnson wasn't a great defensive player. Wilt Chamberlain and Shaquille O'Neal were terrible free throw shooters. In several seasons, Kobe Bryant wasn't very efficient from the field, and Bill Russell was a very limited scorer. On the other hand, Larry Bird was an elite scorer overall. He was tremendously efficient from the field, from three-point range, and from the free throw line. He was an elite rebounder, especially considering his position. He was an elite passer, he was a clutch performer, and he was an NBA All-Defender. I challenge you to find
look at that, man.
Larry Bird.
Like I say, it's just the small things for me that resonate with what this man does. So I'm gonna go back a split second.
Yeah.
So check him out.
I challenge you to find.
He not only gets the steal, defensively, but he has the instincts to know that Mikal is right there, and as soon as he gets the steal, dish to Mikal. You see what I'm saying? It's like it's
One
It's just a
thing
different
that Larry
breed,
Bird
man.
wasn't good at. The other major reason is Larry was arguably a
Another
top 10
defensive
player
player.
of all time in several major categories. First off, scoring. When you consider the greatest scorers in NBA history
I'm hold
and
off a minute.
factor in a player's scoring efficiency, Larry Bird simply has to be in that conversation. He had a career scoring average of 24.3, which is only slightly behind the career scoring average of Kobe Bryant. He also has the second most 50-40-90 seasons in NBA history, trailing only Steve Nash. And Nash was never the 25 to 30 points per game player that Bird usually was. Over a 5-year stretch, from 1985 to 1989, Larry Bird averaged 28 points on 50-40-90 percentages. That level of sustained scoring efficiency is basically unmatched by the rest of NBA history. So again, he's arguably a top 10 scorer of all time. He's also arguably a top 10 rebounder in NBA history when you consider the position.
You know, the thing that I wish that we can do as fans of the sport too is like be knowledgeable about the game in terms of the old school and the new school game. And what I mean by that, and it's like it's these debates I like because it's healthy debates. So when we're making these cases like about the Larry Bird, when you're making cases for Larry Bird to go, to Mike is to go, to LeBron is to go, you're not doing it in a malicious manner. You know, you're just saying why you think or why we think this person is this. But I just feel like we still should give people credit where credit is due. You might not feel that LeBron is the GOAT of all time, but you can't take away from the fact that he is one of the game's greatest players. Same thing with Bird. You might not feel that Bird is the greatest of all time, but it's like the numbers don't lie. Even when you look at him play, it don't lie. So why can't we just give them the credit that they deserve? You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy to me sometimes.
He played.
It's like we'd rather live in a delusional world
Among
than
small forwards,
acknowledge
Bird has
that,
the fourth highest
you know,
rebounds per game average
this person is
in
this.
NBA history at 10.1. The thing is, every other player in the top 8 spots all played in the 1960s, which was easily the most inflated rebounding era in the game's history. And that was due to lower field goal percentages and a faster pace of play. The closest small forward to Larry Bird in rebounds per game who didn't play in the 1960s was Shawn Marion, who wasn't even close to Larry's numbers. He was able to accomplish this thanks to his 6'9" frame, thanks to his all-out play style, and because of his intelligence on the court. In clutch situations, he dominated the boards to an even greater extent. For goodness sake, in the 1984 NBA Finals, Bird averaged 14 rebounds per game over the course of the series.
But I always tell y'all, man, I'm sorry, pause. I be trying to avoid pausing when he's talking. It just be very difficult. But like I told you guys, tell me in the comments what's y'all favorite aspect of Bird's game. And what I'm gonna try to do is whatever it is, if it's your shooting, if it's his shooting for you, his assisting, his rebounding, his hustle, I'm gonna try to go and see if I can find videos that highlight that and speak about that in terms of Bird's game. So please do that, man. You know, comment down
who
in
averaged
the comments.
8.1. In the 1981 finals, Bird averaged 15.3 rebounds, going toe-to-toe with the legendary rebounder Moses Malone. When you consider the era and the position he played, Bird is not only a top 10 scorer of all time, but he's also a potential top 10 rebounder of all time. Then you have Bird as a passer. He had creativity and court vision that was very nearly on the level of the great Magic Johnson. At times, it looked as if Bird had eyes in the back of his head.
I always say
with
that.
Some of the passes
Y'all know
he
that.
was
I always
making.
say that. Y'all know
Among
that.
small forwards, Larry has the second highest assists per game average of all time, ahead of Scottie Pippen and trailing only LeBron James. But unlike LeBron James and Scottie Pippen, Bird's assist per game average actually increased in the postseason. When I recently did a video on the top 10 passers of all time, I had Bird as an honorable mention. And good lord, that created a whole bunch of backlash in the comments section. For me, he's in the 11 to 13 range. But at the very least, we can all agree that he's arguably a top 10 passer. Beyond that, there's 3-point shooting. Bird is tied for the most three-point contest victories in NBA history with a total of 3, which he won in consecutive seasons. In the 1980s, he was regularly among the league leaders in both three-point percentage and in three-pointers attempted. He has every kind of three-point shot in his arsenal, as he could hit them while off balance,
Right.
he could pull up in transition, and he could catch and shoot. Throw in the fact that he was one of the most clutch three-point shooters to ever live, and yeah, at the very least, Bird has an argument for being a top 10 three-point shooter. So to recap, he's arguably a top 10 scorer all time, a top 10 rebounder, a top 10 passer, and a top 10
Look at that,
three-point
man.
shooter. Now, Bird is not a top 10 defensive player, but without a doubt in my mind, he's
Look at this. This is insane.
at the
Watch
very
this play right
least,
here. Not
Bird
this
has
one,
an
the next one.
argument for being a top 10 three-point shooter. So to recap, he's arguably a top 10 scorer all time, a top 10 rebounder, a top 10 passer, and a top 10 three-point shooter. Now, Bird
Make the
is
steal
not
leading
a
to the
top 10
pass.
defensive player, but without a doubt in my mind, he's an extremely underrated defensive player. One thing he was known for was always giving his best energy and effort on the defensive end. You're going to be hard-pressed to find a substantial amount of footage of Bird being lazy on defense, as his blue-collar, grit-and-grind personality translated seamlessly to the court. Although he wasn't the fastest player on the court, he was extremely quick with his hands, as Bird was regularly among the league leaders in steals per game, as he averaged 1.7 over the course of his career. He
And
was
one of my favorite
also
plays.
an above-average shot blocker for his position, as he averaged 0.84 over the course of his career, which is actually a higher blocks per game average than proven defensive small forwards like LeBron James and Kawhi Leonard. Bird has 3 all-defense team selections on his resume, and even finished as high as 3rd overall in the Defensive Player of the Year rankings in 1983. If it wasn't for his humility, he would likely be the NBA's record holder for the most steals in a single game, seeing how he got a total of 9 in only 3 quarters
one
against
play
the
away from a
Utah
quadruple
Jazz
double,
in
man.
1985. Despite sitting out the
One
fourth,
play away.
Bird was just one
One
steal
steal away.
shy of the illustrious quadruple-double. I promise, I'm not trying to convince you that he was basically Dennis Rodman on the defensive end. But at the very least, Bird was an elite defensive player, who usually isn't recognized as such by modern fans. Again, to sum this all up, Larry Legend had basically no weakness in his game, while being top tier in many different aspects of the game. This is why I believe he has a formidable case for being the most complete basketball player in NBA history. There are some other candidates that I would consider as well. Guys like Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Hakeem Olajuwon.
Hold up, for what?
But at the end of the
What did he just say for what? All-around player? Hold up.
the game. This is why I believe he has a formidable case for being the most complete basketball player in NBA history. There are some other candidates that I would consider as well.
I give you Mike. I give you that one.
Guys like Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Hakeem Olajuwon.
Kevin Durant does not go on that list. I'm ready to debate the greatest all-around player. Now, you can put KD on there as one of the greatest scorers, but not the greatest all-around player. Let's just be honest. And I'm willing to debate that.
But at the end of the day,
I don't agree
when
with that
all
one.
things are considered,
Absolutely
Bird might
not.
just be my ultimate choice. So what do you guys think?
Absolutely
Who's
not.
the most complete basketball player of all time? I look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments section below. Thanks for watching as always. Make sure to like and subscribe for more basketball content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
I'm sorry, man. I really disagree with you on that. As far in terms of KD being one of the greatest all-around. We're not talking about scoring. We're talking about greatest all-around player. And in my opinion, KD doesn't fit that bill. But man, as you guys can see, that is it for this video, man. If you did enjoy this video, do me a big favor, man. Smash that thumbs up button. Also, if you're new to the channel, man, make sure you subscribe. Make sure my notification bell is on, and where you be notified on all things Rob Sports Center. Also, one more thing too. So I just recently created a Patreon. I kind of went into detail on that, so I'm gonna touch on it very, slightly. So I did a reaction video a while back with Larry Bird and Dominique Wilkins. For whatever reason, YouTube blocked my video in USA, knowing that 99.9% of my subscribers are from USA. So I started doing research and I came across Patreon. Now the thing is, I do have a membership on there. The membership is only $5, but I promise you guys, if you know me, you know that I'm gonna make it worth your while. And that's where I'm gonna put 9 times out of 10 my longer form contents, like the courtship, arrivals, documentary, and stuff like that, because I don't want to go through the work of filming an hour-long video just for YouTube to block it and snatch it down. So those type of content, that type of content on top of longer interviews, I'm going to eventually put on my Patreon. So that's going to be in the link. The link is going to be in the description, and it's also going to be down in the comment section. I'm going to have it pinned. So man, if you're interested in that, go check it out. You know what I mean? Like I said, I made it, because I was trying to make it not as pricier, as expensive, you know what I mean? But like I said, this is what I'm trying to do with my career. And it's like, unfortunately, you know what I mean? Like, in order for me to do that, I have to make money. You know what I mean? So, I don't want to bust you guys over the head with no $15 subscription or anything like that. But I promise you, man, you will get complete videos from Larry Bird, from WWF, a whole bunch of different stuff I want to incorporate. But man, like I always say at the end of each video, like the GOAT Drizzy Drake say, what's that? I got these videos coming back to back, man. I'll see y'all in the next video.